She's from the Rustomjee group, and Ananta Raghuvanshi from the DMAC group, Shrutika Prajapati from the Prajapati group, and we have Bani Anand from the ATS group. And all women, happy Women's Day to all you beautiful women out there. And today we're talking about an industry that is actually seeing an influx of women into what was traditionally a male bastion. Where every time I have interacted with the industry over the past so many years, it has largely been a male-dominated industry. But the fact that there are so many women, some who have proved themselves, some who are yet to prove themselves, and who are raring to, it spells good news for the industry. So Ananta, let's talk about how you came into this industry.
Jayashree, I was clear that I wanted to do marketing, right? So that's something which I was definitely interested in. And at that point of time, I said, okay, I mean, at 21, you really don't know what you want to do with your life. But I said, I want to work in the best looking office in NCR.
You couldn't have chosen better.
And the other criteria in all of 21 at that time was that, if you have to do marketing for a product, then let me choose the most expensive product. And the product which actually involves, the maximum decision making, So whenever a person is buying a house or a shop or an office or whatever, for that person, they are literally putting their last 15 years savings and their next 15 years EMIs into it. And at whichever level, whichever level they are in and whatever stage of life they are in, it is one of the most important decisions for them. So, us time with the Jayashree, to be honest with you, these were the only two things I was looking for. But it's so addictive. Once you start doing real estate, you can't do anything else. And that's what I've been doing for 3 decades. And we've done it together.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. Actually, real estate is probably one of the most addictive industries because there are so many dimensions to it. And there's so much, it's everyone's game, right? Everyone has to be involved in it. So, Vinita, tell me about what you are bringing to the table in your group.
So I started off in operations.
Yeah.
And 2008 happened and the industry went all over the place. And I think eventually people realized that it's important to ensure that your cash flows and your finances are stable. So I handle the finance and the entire funding and the entire group portfolio for as far as cash flows and all is concerned. It's been a roller coaster because from operations to managing a site to designing a township and getting into finance, which is not even my background. But like she rightly said, Ananta, that real estate is not just addictive. It's a drive. It's a thrill. It's something that makes you want to get up and want to go and strive to do better than you can, because I don't think any other industry can have such a large and emotional connect to give someone their dream home. Right. So that's why I think that's what it is. And what I do is I generally take care of finance and manage the cash flows, which I think today has become the forefront word for every developer. Absolutely. Something that I've never heard whenever I used to be part of it and whenever the company was. So I've seen the company since the day it was formed. And I don't really remember anyone who stand up and said that, many cash flows for them, finance and cash flows was all FSI. Now FSI is out and it's only managing that every last rupee that you need to do.
Bani, you've come into the industry at a time when a difficult time, right? Yeah. The industry has been going through 2 years of a lot of pain.
Correct.
Now, as a young entrant into this industry, and you must have, though the ATS group is
20 years.
20 years old. I worked for about 20 years. But how do you perceive this changing scenario, and what do you think is going to be your role in this?
I think the change is good. I think, as you rightly said before, there have not been that many women in the industry. And I think a large part of that reason has been that I think fathers, at least I can speak for second generation entrepreneurs, have been, a little resistant to getting their daughters in what they would probably consider to be a very disorganized or unorganized industry. But I think the change that has come in the last couple of years has actually kind of created very large entry barriers. Not every person today has it in them to become a developer. You are liable to your customer in more than one way because of RERA. And I think hopefully with this clearing out, we will see more women actually want to be a part of this more organized industry today than what it was before.
True. Shrutika, a lot of, like Bani said, a lot of second generation did not want to come into the real estate industry. It was not even considered a very good industry to be part of. But today, there is policy, there is finance, there is legislation, and there is this immense need of a growing urban India. So you are one who has opted to come back into your family group after working outside. Tell me what you bring from where you worked outside, and what is it that you bring to the group?
So, as she said, that it was a really unorganized, entire real estate industry was really unorganized. And I have seen from childhood, because of my dad's business, that it has grown into being verticals like finance and business development and marketing. These things were introduced into the industry. And post RERA, it's, as she rightly said, that there's barrier to entrance, and only the developers who were actually delivering what they were offering have survived post RERA. So after looking at all these improvements, plus after working in US for about 2.5 years after my MBA in marketing, I was working in a marketing agency, and I was a digital marketing specialist over there. So that is my forte. That is what I want to bring into the industry, because digital is the next big thing.
That's what Magic Bricks always
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
Like we are here, exactly. We are here doing a show on YouTube.
Yes.
But what else can
Yes.
be a more, stone to like tell us that yes, this is the next big thing. So that is a good revolution that is happening in the industry, and I want to be a part of it, and I want to take it to the next level, because I have worked on technologies that are still not very much used in India, and I want to bring that into the industry. And what other better way to start from your own company?
Right. In fact, technology is one big thing waiting to come to India, especially in the real estate industry. And we are just 2-3 days away from the Global Housing Technology Challenge, where about 50 technologies have come in. Now, what we are actually looking at is an industry where each one of you is bringing your contributions. So, Ananta, you've been in this industry for a good 25-30 years. What is it that you, as a woman, as a professional, of course, you brought a lot of things. As a woman, what is that special something that you bring to the industry?
Personally, I feel that as a professional, there's no compartmentalization that men can do this and women can't, and women can do this and men can't do this. There isn't any such thing that I have ever felt.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, one of the things that which comes very naturally to women is their nurturing instinct and also their creativity. And they are also a lot more communicative. It's just how we are made, So these few things definitely give you a little bit of an edge.
And you can multitask.
Yeah.
Every woman is.
I think we're also far more methodical in the way that we actually conduct our businesses, and we make sure we're tying up all loose ends, and everything is always in place. So I think.
Yes. So I think these three things definitely help, because when you communicate more, you make sure that everybody understands what the goals are and how the task is to be achieved, and like she said, that you have a habit of going back again and any help required and all. And also the nurturing instinct really helps, because when the youngsters come in and you just hire and let them be. It doesn't work. If you want the best to come out of them, then their own creativity combined with a little bit of a guidance and some kind of hand-holding certainly helps. So I think whenever I've seen women sitting in top positions, or even if they're not in top positions, if they have a certain experience or skill, they are very willing to share it and give it. And today the times are such, like she mentioned. It's not just FSI numbers and easy markets. You have to think out of the box, and it's your creativity going forward which is going to decide who's winning and who's getting left behind. So,
and today we have a woman buyer coming up. Earlier, a lot of decisions were primarily by men. Today, our own data shows that about 60-70% of people who are buying, they start engaging with us online, and about 60-70% are women. What is that new woman buyer, and what are the aspirations of the buyer today?
Even if you look traditionally, while a house was always bought by the male person, and it was always it was a very male-dominated buying decision also. It always was bought for the lady of the house. If you see maximum designing in a house is always, I think, the
Being in mind
kitchen.
the woman.
You have an entire room dedicated to that, the puja room and all. It's always for the fact that the lady of the house is going to be there and the kids are going to be there. So it's always family oriented. In fact, today, like your research, even our research when we done, so we are a very child-centric company. Everything in our organization is around kids. But today, if you actually look at it, the amount of women who are coming out and becoming your first purchasers, and the amount of women who are actually driving decisions, the ones that actually are doing the research and coming up with why this property is better than this, why should we go and see this and why not that, has actually grown. And you're right, today what the way the lady of the house will perceive the house the minute you want to pitch it is what's very important today in any marketing and sales pitch. A lot of people, even us, if you look at us, we design our sales and marketing pitch assuming and imagining that when she walks in, that entire experience has to be wow.
She needs to love it.
Yeah, it's a wow experience. And when you deliver a home, the entire experience for the lady when she takes that first step, whether it's the ribbon cutting or handing over the keys, that has to be wow.
Yes.
That has to be something that she feels proud of. That has to be something that when she goes back and she tells the world that I have a home here.
Yeah.
And this is what they did for me. So that's what we are actually as a group was doing. So I see a lot of that happening. Those finer details, like she said, having women in organizations or having women to drive things gets you this emotional connect that genuinely was not there earlier, which now it's coming, and now it's of very huge importance because home buying has always been an emotional.
Absolutely.
I don't even think it's home buying in general. I just feel like, as your upper middle class is actually becoming more and more educated, you would see women are far more empowered in that section of society than they are even in, probably, the uppermost class or the lowermost class. So the educated woman today is making her own decisions, whether that's real estate decisions or whether that's anything else.
In fact, entire retail is driven by women, right?
So I think as and when, we actually have a larger chunk of educated women in the country, we will see them kind of taking more decisions in every sphere of their life, let alone real estate.
And then you have that working woman, and most women are out of the house, they're working and so on. So they, in your entire planning and safety and lighting and small elements that come into it, let me understand how you guys deal with that. The developers are today focusing more on safety. The women are out at all hours.
Correct.
There is a lot more that you need to put in.
Correct.
So that your home stands.
So at ATS, we actually are one of the few companies in the country that have a complete backward integration model. So even the security in our complexes belongs to us. So we actually have a company that manages that as well. So like Vinita rightly said, when it comes to actually doing the layout of the apartment, it's done keeping in mind, small conveniences like, you have a utility balcony right next to the kitchen just to make sure that, you don't have, and then you make sure, you have the servant quarter close to that as well, so that they can manage that, and that you have decent sized wardrobes, you have bathrooms that are of a good size, and these are of course things. Vastu, people care a lot about Vastu, and we make sure that we are very Vastu compliant when we're making our complexes. Having said that, about security, we try and make sure that we have our own security at all times, so women, at least within our complexes, feel extremely safe. They could be taking a walk. We, unlike Bombay, are in NCR, right? So you have the luxury of having 20-acre properties also. And you're not there.
You talk about space, it sounds so nice from because it's not possible to do things like that.
So, but when you talk about safety, it feels so nice.
It feels so nice.
You can't talk about it.
So you have the expanse to actually, take long walks even in the middle of the night. But of course, it's well managed in that sense, and women love it when their kids are safe and they have enough room to play. So we kind of take care of that too. We make sure that there's enough green space for them to play. There are swings, and so then they just feel like they have a good home to live in, something that they can call their own haven. You know, at the end of the day, what you want is to come back and feel like,
Yes,
I'm home.
absolutely.
You know, so
And Shrutika, when you get into marketing here and you're reaching out to the consumer digitally, the consumer is all digital, right? All our consumers are digital. So what change will you bring about in your marketing strategies?
Yeah. So as we were like talking about how women are influencing, I think men can get very technical. Like they will get very technical with how the construction quality is so good and like how the building is supposed to be like this strong steel, but then it's ultimately going to be a home, and it's the amenities and what they are, how the women feel, how the structure inside the home is. That is something that needs to be very well communicated with all the customers. We need to communicate that, okay, Bombay, we don't have space. So what are we going to, how are we going to provide you the amenities? And so we are making podium level amenities now. We are bringing up spaces inside our buildings. We have open spaces and the entire floor, half is given for indoor recreation, half of it is like open space, podium level, jogging track, swimming pool. So like these has to be communicated pretty well through digital, and digital is the most visual place, you know, like it can replace print ads through videos. So digitally we can show them what kind of lifestyle they can, you know, pursue through the buildings. And yeah, the digital ads will be giving that kind of communication, and it will, you know, the women will be.
Though the digital audience actually is only the city audience.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
today,
That
when
is true.
in our country, the massive need for housing still lies, you know, in your lower income group and mid income group. So when you talk about affordable housing and PMAY and actually building a home for everyone by 2020 or whatever it is that your vision may be, it is only your Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad audience that would probably
I
We
disagree. I
I
actually
disagree
disagree
too.
because I think the cell phone today has given a kind of confidence to women across the country, and basically it's not only women.
Imagine someone in Bareilly.
So I
The
think
cell
Bareilly
phone,
is better in connected
yes.
with digital. I tell you why. Because your Facebook and your Google AdWords, when people get onto that particular city, they are all based on an algorithm that throws up data based on what you search. So when you digitally market on Facebook, it's easier to get your special section of a particular city on
Completely agree. No, I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. I do this for the blog that I run. But I'm just saying that, you know, today in even the smaller cities, we may speak of a digital India, but there's still a large chunk of India that does not even have access to internet today.
But I think if the connectivity is weak, yes. But going by the Magic Bricks experience, the fact that we have 40 offices across the country, and these are in cities, large, small, verging on urban kind of thing. So I feel that we've reached there. Of course, what you say is right. Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore have the kind of connectivity and influence that maybe the smaller cities don't. But I think the aspirational quotient is scaling up only because we are all connected.
Yeah, I just feel like there's still a long way to go to actually have that immense digital footprint in an industry like real estate, which is primarily brick and mortar, where you actually get down to making a decision very fast while being on a digital platform. I think we're still a little far away from that.
No, so
Awareness is something we've had access to
as
now.
far as the buying decision is concerned, that I think not just, you know, digitalization, I think the Indian mindset is not something that can buy something online. I think they still like the touch and feel, but they can get you the best leads.
Lenskart has an
Definitely.
offline. Yelp has an offline. So you can see that these, of course, that touchy-feely.
It's very important.
I don't think we can actually compare Yelp and Lenskart. And I was actually, you know, in the movie industry back in US. The ticket price is $15.
Yeah.
And the real estate price is, you know, like 1,000 times of it.
But
So you cannot actually
information
compare.
on a platter, which
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah. So it's
But I want to share
decision.
some data that I've pulled out of Magic Bricks. And this really is, in a nutshell, what's happening. Our women traffic has grown by 6% from March 2018 to Feb 2019. and our numbers are very large. So 6% is a the women traffic is 40% of the total, right? In a 10% here, age group is the most active. And the fact that 3 of the age group, and yeah, and these are some of the things we do for women that make a place safe for women. And you see, if you look, get dessert safe if you are transport. And we see that whatever stage you are in, etc. That's the physical aspect of it is just everybody wants safe public transport network, well lit and good roads. In fact, places like Gurgaon, one point you found that the city was lit up like Diwali.
Yeah.
And that was only if you want a city that's very large women workforce, you have to have well-lit streets.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to conclude this session. Thank you so much for joining us in this very special edition of The Property Show.